Hey everybody, James Shepard here with another edition of Today in Payments, filling in for Patty Murphy, who's at the Northeastern Acquirers Association. And so today I want to talk to you about an article I actually read on a little shout out here to payments.com, pymnts.com. Fantastic resource. Article here that says 81% of SMBs are open to adopting integrated payments. Now, this specific article is actually talking about B2B payments. So I wanted to follow up on what we talked about yesterday with the things that Visa is doing in Australia. But the idea here is that many small businesses are dealing with this fragmentation where they're working with multiple systems in order to manage their B2B payments, their vendors, things of that nature. And it's such a huge problem for these businesses that over 81% of them are saying they would be willing to switch and change their processes to a new system if the price was right. And I think that this is bringing up a really interesting point in payments in the direction of the payments industry. For a long time, when you looked at software, you had the SaaS fees was the primary driver of revenue and profits. More and more, what we're seeing is we're seeing the rise of software companies that are understanding the implications of payment monetization, the money they can make on payment processing. And as a result of that, what they're looking to do is change this model and flip it on its head to where they can either minimize or eliminate the SaaS revenue in exchange for making money on the payment processing. And they look at those SaaS fees as maybe just a barrier to entry to say, hey, we can just eliminate that. So in the case of this article I read, what these business owners all talked about as their primary consideration when they were looking at switching, it was number one, they want to have one and only one system where they can run all the operations for their business and where the payments are fully integrated into that. But number two, once they find that system, it's about the cost. They look at it and say, well, I would love to have a system like that, but I'm sure it just costs too much. That's pretty much what this article says businesses are saying. So, when you go in and say, well, no, actually our software is free, but we monetize the payments, right? This is something I've done with a company I own, CC Storage, where we deal with self-storage management companies. I'm looking at an ISV right now that I'm considering purchasing, and very similar situation in an adjacent vertical where, again, we're giving away the software for free, but we're making money on the payment processing. And what we're seeing is that when you lower that barrier to entry of like, hey, there's no cost, especially if you can add in a compliant differential pricing like compliant surcharging or compliant dual pricing or cash discounting, what happens is you make this kind of unbeatable offer that's just too good for the business owner to pass up, as long as they think it's a legitimate system and it's trustworthy. So you build that brand recognition, but then you also have the ability to do the free software. So this is just a trend that we're seeing. I could name many, many other examples of this, that businesses that are looking to take the payment monetization and use that to offset the SaaS revenue that they were making before. So by doing this, again, we're going to see that big shift or trend in the market moving towards this, as this report in the payments.com seems to indicate. So there's your info today on payments. Thanks so much for checking out Today in Payments. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.